now that we've talked about private investigator, laws, the requirements, history, investigative process, case management, surveillance. After we've all put that together, we come to the end, which is the final product. Once we turn that report into the adjuster and have, they'll decide at that point, their lawyers and them what they want to do. Sometimes these cases end up going to court. They go to court. There are always things you want to do to prepare. So a lot of times the attorney will tell you that you can use your notes to refer back to. They will allow you to do that. They will allow you to review video, things that may help you to understand, what's going on in a particular case. And it is important to try to familiarize yourself with all the relevant documents, all the previous reports and information and information that's been provided to the client. You want to communicate with the legal counsel. You want to maintain open and clear communication with the legal team, provide them any new or relevant information on the case. You want to rehearse your testimony. As a witness, you want to practice delivering your testimony, respond to potential questions with confidence and clarity. People are always going to try to trip you up. You want to anticipate challenges, consider potential arguments and counter-arguments that may be raised by opposing counsel, and prepare responses and strategies to address them. Like I told you, I had the one young lady who wanted to kind of debate about the whole recording, when I first arrived. A lot of that sometimes is done to upend you, to get you, anxious, angry, upset. You want to stay consistent. You want to, kind of be matter of fact, and to the point. This is consistently what I do. This is normally how it's done. This is what I did in that particular situation. You want to organize, any evidence that you have, digital evidence, and make sure that it's, properly labeled and cataloged, prepared for court. You want to understand as much as you can about the case law pertaining to your case. No need to go to law school, but just the basics is always good. Want to prepare your witnesses. If there's any other people that you're bringing, the courtroom procedures, the rules and procedures for the courtroom. Always want to dress professionally. I've heard, too many times these are other company situations, not so much us, when individuals show up and it's not dressed appropriately for court. I mean, not to say that, you don't know anybody's particular situation, but, there's always certain levels of expectations when a client's there. So you want to, always put your best foot forward. Be well-groomed, consult yourself professionally. You don't want to get in the shouting match with the attorney and the DA, whoever the case may be. And have respect for, all parties involved, in the courtroom. If you're unsure, it's always good to seek, guidance from other professionals, people who've done it a couple of times, people who, been around that block, so to speak, kind of give you advice in terms of, some of the things that you want to do to prepare. Of course, you have the courtroom etiquette, dress attire, being punctual. I'm just one of those people, I feel like you should be punctual on everything in life, but definitely be on time. If you can get there early, that's great, because sometimes things get pushed back, things get rescheduled, things get pushed up. Familiarize yourself with the courtroom rules. whatever you may be able to learn about that judge. If it's somewhere in the area where you live, like I said, most of our investigators live in this area, you may be knowledgeable, somebody may be aware of them. Sometimes the courtroom individuals there tell you, the do's and what they like, what they don't like. You just don't want to get off on a bad foot, plus you are a third-party individual in there to testify. So, be prepared, be calm and poised, speak clearly, speak with a lot of confidence. When you testifying, address any questions that's directed to you. Avoid interruptions. You want to wait for the judge or the attorney to finish speaking. One of my pet peeves is always somebody speaking while I'm speaking. So I'm always going to let you get it out. And then once you get it out, then I'll respond. Because, your goal is to listen. A lot of times when people, if you understand and you're already ready to shoot something out, you're listening to respond. You're not listening to comprehend. And that's going to be a problem because you may end up saying or doing something that's going to hurt the case. So, you want to be as truthful as possible. And you want to, follow any instructions given to you by the judge or the attorneys during your testimony. Courtroom testimony. Understand the legal framework if necessary, preparing your testimony, being objective. A lot of times you may be called on as an expert witness. I've been an expert witness, several times in regards to a particular topic or subject matter. Once again, just being clear and concise, keeping it cool, being respectful, following the rules. I'll tell you one of the things I thought has really been interesting in all my years of testifying. I don't think, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I've never had an attorney ask me if I was licensed in that particular state. Never heard it?
I would think that'd be the first question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Yeah. But most of the times, in most situations, they need somebody to come in and sign off on the video that was obtained because they want to enter it in the court or authenticate it. So a lot of times that can be done by anybody. So you may work a case and, somebody else may go to court just to confirm it. I mean, you may have investigators who pass away, move away, left the company. So there are, several ways that you can go and authenticate the video.
So the person who is actually working the case or doing the video does not have to be the one that goes to court.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they can, but they don't necessarily have to be the person that goes to court. And that's where it comes, that whole role of communicating with the operations manager because they manage that file as well.
Yeah.
So they're educated in terms of what happened. They've seen the update, maybe made some edits to it. They've seen the video. They've seen all the back end information before it was organized and put into that final report. So they have a good working knowledge.
So the videos can be edited to a point.
Yeah, because you get some clients that just say, hey, I don't need all that other stuff. Just give me video of him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and those condensed or short videos, easy to put together in terms of making edits. Because if you think about it, your video is telling the story. Your first time shot is arriving at the house. And then you've got a series of other time shots when nothing happened. You're just like, okay, street sign, picture of the house, 10 o'clock, now he's active. So from 10 to 12, he's active, comes home from the grocery store, 1 o'clock, he unloads the groceries, goes back in the house, then come back out, you leave it too. So some clients will say, well, I don't need all that other stuff, because a lot of times when they're going to show the video, they kind of got to wait for that to happen, fast forward through it. And they fast forward through it, they get to your part, and they got to go back. So they say, well, just give me claimant only video. So in summary, we talked about courtroom preparation, courtroom etiquette, and courtroom testimony. So as we close out, let's talk about careers in investigations. Where do we work? Personal protection services, undercover investigations, crisis intervention services, loss prevention, criminal, polygraph, missing persons, pre-employment screenings, personal, civil, criminal. A lot of these things we touched on at the very beginning in terms of services that we can provide. All of these are particular fields that, that we can go in as investigators. So it just comes down to, what skill or what, particular expertise you want to focus on when you think about getting in to the field. And then, of course, where else do we work? Run our own businesses, performing, various, services, investigative, marital investigation, skip tracing. It's a wide array of investigative services that we can provide to clients. So when you think about it, you just don't want to look at it from the standpoint of, all you do is surveillance. All you do is, you can become a licensed investigator and do anything. I mean, there's some investigators, all they do is scene investigations. All they do is SIUs. All they do is a live and well check. We talked about the telephonic a lot of times, and even in our arena, we typically sometimes have to get on the phone. Let's say we're doing a live and well check or interview with an individual that's in Florida. We may need an interpreter, So you have some investigators, that's all they are. They interpret, they manage some things. We have desktop investigators. We've got some young ladies who actually do our back end prelims. They do all of the back end work, on the reports. Yeah. So they, so then those are some of the things to consider. And here's, like I said, a few more: private investigative, corporate, legal, insurance, digital, security consultant. A lot of times, you can work from a consultant standpoint. Some people are speakers. I periodically give speeches on investigation, cybersecurity, so forth, so on. Fraud examiners on all different levels. Background screening specialists. Individuals who work for background screening companies, or they'll start their own background screening company.
Is that in high demand?
What's that?
Background screening.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is one thing I never forget when I first started. They would say to me, "Hey, you want to focus on, one particular group." There was a meeting full of, a bunch of business owners, and I just politely told the guy, he was on a panel when he was speaking, and I was, a new guy, new to the industry, still wet behind the ears, so to speak. But I politely told him, I said, well, everybody in here should be doing business with me. Because I was the only investigator in it. I said, because everybody in here runs a business. If nothing else, at the minimum, you should be doing background checks. Yeah.
Yeah, because you just never know who you're hiring these days.
Yeah. I remember when we first started out and I was doing the background checks, one of the biggest things was a lot of people were like, we don't really do background checks, do everything off a handshake. And it was just, people would focus on that particular county. And I remember asking people, I said, well, this person went to school, say in Michigan. They've been living here for the last 2-3 years. You have no idea what they did in Michigan. So if you're not looking to see what they did in Michigan, you literally got to have an axe murder working here.
That's right.
And he comes in here, something happens, he hit the plane. And now everybody's like, oh my God.
Nobody knew.
Yeah. You got to think about your level of liability.
Yeah.
And so you might want to expand these background checks to go nationwide or statewide or, to make sure that you're getting the information. You want to look at, run the motor vehicle records. If those individuals are going to be driving company vehicles, because a lot of times insurance companies, they're going to run that MVR and they're not going to allow or certify for that person. They're going to put them under.
Well, they'll let you use them, but that premium is going to be so high. It's like, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
What's normally in a background check? Is it motor vehicles,
motor
credit,
vehicle,
I guess, maybe?
Yeah, some people are asked for credit, motor vehicle credit, Criminal history.
Yeah.
Criminal history, education.
All public records, I'm sure. Right?
Education. You get it over there and they say, well, hey, he's applying for this position. He's got a master's degree here. He went to school there. He's lived in all these places. We want to verify his social, make sure this is actually his social. We used to do a lot of work out in California, background checks, and it has a lot of social security numbers that just were fraudulent.
Wow.
Yeah, they were just fraudulent. So,
do you verify education as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times a client will come to you, and some people say, "Hey, I need a background check." The best thing to do is ask them, "So, what exactly do you know?" Because a lot of times they'll be running things that they really don't need. It's pointless.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. So I'm like, so you're running MVRs, why? Like, if they're not driving a company vehicle, what does it matter? You're running credit reports, why? If they're not getting a company credit card, what does it matter?
Well, so to me, because when we would do them, you're trying to get, or the intent is to try to get a full picture of the person. So if this person doesn't pay their bills on time, there's a personality trait associated with that. Maybe they are irresponsible.
Or maybe they're working with money at the job.
Right. And so, like with the military, I had one soldier, we had to put him out because he would get in a relationship with some girl, buy her a car in his name, they break up, she wouldn't pay it, it'd get repossessed. And this happened 3 times. Well, now you've got 3 repossessions, but you're trying to hold the top secrets and security clearance.
Yeah, that's definitely
get out of here.
Definitely a no-no in the military.
They got him out. He was gone. But for me personally, one of the things that I'm definitely interested in the background screening piece. But I think that's how you sell it, like you said. Everybody should, because there is a level of liability. There's a commercial going on in Memphis where a law firm is talking about how, if you had an injury or a robbery while you were at a store, they quoted I don't even know if it's a real law or not, but they were quoting something that stated that the owner of the business has a right to ensure your safety as you come and go from that place. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, you don't know what's going on with these places. My wife watches this crazy show called Survive. You guys ever heard of it?
I've heard of it. I've not watched it.
All it talks about is people surviving crazy situations. And this one lady literally was beat up and almost raped by the security guard of her secured apartment complex. Mm-hmm. He was a security guard. Mm-hmm. And why did he get there? Why did he get the job? They never did a background check.
That's
and
crazy.
It's like, nobody's doing that,
I mean, it's a reasonable thought that he would have had a background check.
Yeah, he never got a background check.
I've seen it in situations, people I've known, personally that have, businesses, they have rental property. They may start out doing a background check. And then, over time, people are like, well, I don't want to incur the cost.
I like him. He seems like a good person.
And then what happens is this person moves in, moves out, owes them a bunch of money, and now they call me to death. And my thing, I'm typically looking at it, I'm like, hey, dude, you never called us to do a background check.
Yeah.
So what's your sense of emergency is not my sense of emergency.
Right.
Instead of spending this $50, $60 on a background check, you instead chose to go around it.
And now you're stuck for almost $150,000 or whatever. Yeah, because you're same issue.
Yeah, you're looking to move somebody into this house to get the revenue going, but you need to understand how you're putting in there.
Yeah. My cousin's dealing with that in Chicago. His mom, before she passed, used to do all of the face-to-face applications, background, and she could read people really well. He doesn't do that at all. And he's not, she would do the background checks and make them pay, I think it's like a $60 application fee.
Yeah.
30 of that was a background check or credit or whatever. Yeah. And it's a telltale sign of attendance. If they've ever had an eviction, that means they understand the law, which tells them that in Illinois, you can't be put out.
Yeah.
Like they go through almost a year and a half of rent free.
Yeah.
And so if somebody's exposed to that and knows it, I'm not renting to that person. Yeah. No, thank you. Because they're gonna do it to you.
But see, also the catch-22 with that, and this is how when I'm talking to people, I explain it to them. Why would you not do the background check? It's not costing you anything.
No.
All you do, you have your application
payments
and have it paid for. Yeah. I said, if they're willing to pay for it,
they don't have nothing to hide.
They got nothing to hide.
That's it.
If they don't want to pay for it, then there's probably a problem. You know what I'm saying? Or if they're bringing you somebody else to run the background check, this person's going to be staying there, and I may be staying there. That's something to think about.
It's a red flag indicator.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, normally what I say, it doesn't cost you anything. Just have them incur that cost. You know what I'm saying? And they've got nothing to hide. I mean, same thing with people when they call us about background checks. I say, okay, well, hey, here's the packet. There's an authorization form in it. And I said, have that individual sign off on it. We've had people, want to send the form back. Well, hey, can you just run it and then I'll have them sign it? No, that's the other part. Like I said, you've all heard me say it several times, a certain level of liability. Somebody comes to audit me and then the background check is after. You know what I'm saying? You signed it, or if I say okay and we run the background check and then you put this person in there and there's a problem, I could be liable. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, yeah, okay, we'll go ahead and, it's cool. We'll just do it later. You know what I'm saying? Now you're inviting me to that particular situation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And by sliding that application over to a person and they got to sign their name and fill out the form, that lets people know that you are running a background check. So if there's anything, and I see this a lot, as well. So you slide the form over there, they fill it out. Form comes back, run the form. At the last line at the bottom, any criminal, history, conviction, you got a whole line to explain what it is.
Nothing on it.
You don't check yes or no. When I see those forms, because I try to look at every background check form, I'm like, it's going to be interesting. Because they didn't answer yes or no. And there's a reason for that. People always, or you'll get forms and people will slide them over there, no social security number. And then that employer will tell you, well, they didn't feel comfortable putting their social security number. I'm like, well, you're going to do their finances, right? You're going to pay them.
Right.
So you got your social. Why would they not want to give it to us? I said, if we want it, I can go to the system.
From your HR, yeah.
Or I can just pull it out the system
if
I want your social security number. I said, the fact that they don't want to put their social security number on here, I'm going to send it back to you. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you that we can't do their background check. Now, if you choose to hire them, that's fine, but they don't get to select
the information
that they give us. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why we ask for this information. And so the report comes back bad. You didn't check A or B. You put anything in there. Now we send it to the employer. The employer, typically, they will call us, and I've seen it both ways. Well, that was expunged. You know what I'm saying? Well, he says that's expunged. Okay, well, it's in the system. You know what I'm saying? Well, now that potential applicant wants to argue with you, I'm like, hey, it's what's in the system.
It's what's in the system.
Yeah, like we put it document.
Yeah. I'm giving you the information you paid me to give you. Here you go. You can do whatever you want to with it.
You'll have some, employers, including you now in this applicant, in this conversation. He wants to know how he can get it out of the system. Like, hey, that's not what we do. That's between you and your attorney. If your attorney told it was expunged, you should have some documentation. It should be removed from the system. Mm-hmm. It's not what we do. We report, as I said, early on in the investigation, third party, we're reporting what's in the system. Now, the removal from it is up to you and your attorney. Yes, but this is what's in the system. And like I said with the form, there was a whole line. You could explain whatever that was. You could have wrote, hey, I had this break-in, it turned into a stalking situation in North Carolina. Very brief. Mm-hmm. So when we see it,
it's not a surprise. Yeah. And you got a bigger picture of what happened.
And it matches up with what you were saying. So at least you show that employer, that potential employer, a level of honesty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you just kind of close your eyes and roll the dice, could come back negative, you know what I'm saying, and you get a job, or it could come back positive and be a problem. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well get out in front of it now. Because what could happen is you could go work somewhere else, and I've seen this as well. People run background checks. They hire that person. There's nothing in there. The company that sent it to you, they say, we're just doing statewide. Okay, perfect. They get a contract. Now they're going to a federal facility. That company's doing background checks on everybody who's coming over here. I don't care, janitorial service, whatever it is. Now you got 4 people who can't come in the building. Now that person's on the phone calling you. Like, hey, well, you can come up. You're doing North Carolina. This is on the federal level. These charges are Illinois, South Carolina. When we set up this relationship, you said you wanted this. I advised you to do this. Yeah. Now you got egg on your face. Because now you got this contract and it's a contract. Yeah. You don't have the workers. And it's like a black eye for you. You know what I'm saying? Because
you didn't do your due diligence. Yeah. So, question for you, because I see the other career opportunities. I guess my question is, what is the path at this point to become any of those? Like, what do we need to do?
Well, the next step would be you want to make application with the state of Tennessee, and I can email you guys the link. Okay. Put your application in. You do your background check. You pay your licensing fee, and you take the examination. Once you pass the examination, you'll be an intern to start with. Once you pass the examination, then you become a full-fledged private investigator at that point.
And is there any study materials for prepping for passing?
Yes, there are. As a matter of fact, this is one of the books here that they recommend that you pick up.
Okay. I like it.
So a lot of the investigators who have recently taken the examination, they picked this book up. And this is by Stephen Carey Brown. Yeah. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
And then there's a Tennessee practice examination.
Well, is that in a link as well?
I believe it's a link for that. I know you have to purchase it. I mean, we do have them. We can get them to you. If you're interested in obtaining a copy of it. And I can check on that if you guys want us to, get one.
Yes, please. It would be awesome.
But those would be 2 of the things that, and of course, the laws. The TCA, Tennessee Convention.
We should just be able to find those online.
Yeah, just be able to find those online, as well as any state requirements, for as it pertains to Tennessee. If we were in a different state, I would say, check those state laws.
I'll be close to that one. Okay. So the next steps, receiving the links, doing the application, studying, taking the exam, passing, and then internship hours.
Well, you once you put your application in and you do your fingerprints, you should receive your intern card. So when you go to look at it, intern, I've seen people do it both ways. They've gone the intern route or they've gone the private investigation route. They're pretty much the same. I just think maybe it's a little less cost, effective if you go the intern route. I mean, because the intern gives you the opportunity to work, under the supervision of somebody else. Gotcha. And that gives you time to learn and study the business. So you're an investigator, you're just under somebody else's supervision, And you can take the examination anytime. You don't have to ride out, what the hours are. You can schedule your examination at any time.
So, okay, so now it makes more sense. All right, so you're saying do the app,
Mhm.
get the background check, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Then you'll get the intern card. At
Yeah.
that point, you start prepping and studying
Yeah.
for the test.
Yeah.
And at some point, you should be comfortable enough taking the test. That's when you get the license.
Yeah.
But you've already paid for the application and all that.
Yeah, you've already done that.
Okay.
And you're already in the system, as a licensed intern.
But you can do, so basically you send us the link right now, we could apply, pay the money and everything, and get an intern card in the next few days or so.
Yeah,
and then go and start working under somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
So, living in Mississippi,
Well,
trying to get in Tennessee, would that,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you, for like the first one, if I had to live in Tennessee or.
No, just with that being said, it just allows you, it gives you that
Credentialing.
You know what I'm saying?
And
Especially
that's
considering like where you live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, here we are in South Haven. You know what I'm saying? We want to exit up from Memphis.
Well, to clarify for me, please, sir. So once you receive the intern card,
Mhm.
so I would need to go to find someone to work for.
Yeah, somebody to sponsor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, that's sponsor, because what happened is when you're doing the internships, they're going to ask you for a letter from your sponsor.
Okay.
And then that individual will send a letter to the state. They say, okay, cool. We send them their intern packet. They've got, 6 months to get prepared, take this examination.
Oh, okay.
So you have to do the 6 months before you take
Well,
it.
you don't. That's why I said it's two different ways.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry. That's
we've got
understood.
two guys who are on the intern route.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? We got another guy that's going, the PI route.
To the test.
Yeah.
So what is the PI route versus
Just,
this?
I'm instead of applying as an intern, I'm applying as a full-fledged investigator. Check my credentials. Am I meeting the requirements? I believe both of you all should meet the requirements. Now I got so much time to sit for the test. You may have 30 days to sit for the test. After your fingerprints, you got 30 or 45 days to sit for the test. If not, they're gonna kick your application out.
But if you do the internship route, you got 6 months to sit for the test before they kick your application.
But you can take the test at any time.
Mhm.
It's just your window is a little bit longer.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And it may be, in that situation, some people I think have gone that route, maybe not comfortable with their credentials, whether they line up. But, based on both of yours credentials, you should be fine, in my personal opinion.
And so once you get the license, then it's a matter of literally just finding these type of jobs and applying for them.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have them on LinkedIn, you've got them on, any of the job searches.
Okay.
Or you can decide, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You just have to make sure, you put the tools in place to do that. Say, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do background check. And just put the tools in place. It's always good to, go and learn under somebody. You don't want to spend your whole life.
Yeah.
It's always good to go and learn, under somebody and understand, what a position requires or what needs to be done. And then, proceed from there.
I'm just thinking out loud. I think I would like to start out with background checks. I think that'd be a good place to start.
Yes.
Get a feel for it. And I have an interest in quite a few things.
I know, because I'm looking at all of them. It's like, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's a wide open field. We do have, our YouTube page that we just pulled up. I've got a couple podcasts we're going.
Okay.
We're going to go live with this month.
Awesome.
One's on, investigative tips, unlocking investigative tips. The other one is cybersecurity tips. We'll post, shorts, maybe some shorts from this class out on our YouTube channel. After we get a chance to look at it and edit it. So these are other avenues that we, created to be able to push that information out there for investigators to, for instance, the investigative Masterchek Insider. I know we'll have other investigators around the United States that'll call in and we'll have conversations.
When are you airing those and on what
Those
You just
are on
post them?
all, yeah, they're on all,
Oh, they're on your channel.
yeah, well, we've got the YouTube channel, but
Okay.
the podcast are on all platforms. Spotify, iHeart,
Okay.
Speaker. If you want to look for them, they're actually out there now.
Okay.
Just called Masterchek Podcast.
Yeah, well, you go to Masterchek Inside.
Oh, Masterchek.
Yeah,
Masterchek.
Masterchek Chronicles. On YouTube is Masterchek Investigations, our YouTube channel. And like I said, we'll be talking with other investigators. They'll be calling in, having conversations, about various things, stories, situations, giving advice. So, we want to really build that, channel and communicate, more within the network.
Yeah.
We're really trying to increase. It's kind of been a dip, in my opinion, and that's what caused these classes in the PI situation. Some people, they don't know the gist of it. That's why I think this course is great. Okay. From an informational standpoint, explaining it to you so you know what it is. Some people will get into it and nobody's ever explained it to them, never broken it down to them. Things that are important and things aren't important. Think about this, think about that. And over time, of course, you're going to get better at it.
Right.
But, based on the things that you all want to do, a lot of that just comes down to any additional things you may see online. And then just based on your own personal knowledge. Right. It's like when we were talking about, offline, that one case, educational records and stuff like that, your own personal knowledge.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It's just,
whatever it takes to kind of build the context around what is going on. Okay.
Yeah.
And now that book, is that something that we can get online?
Yeah, this is Amazon.
It is Amazon.
Yeah, I think this was $20, $25. Okay. And I'll check on that, check on that examination.
Yeah, practice exam.
Yeah, the practice examination. Okay. I'll check on that and, see what it costs for us to get you a copy of that. But yeah. Okay. And we've actually come to the close. We've already talked about the book. There's the actual practice examination I'm talking about. But it's for Tennessee.
And is that something that would come in the mail that we practice, or is it something that we would do online?
That examination, I believe, you can purchase it to download.
Okay.
You can probably print it in a hard copy.
Is it timed?
No, it's just questions. Sample questions.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, questions on the examination.
Cool. Okay. I got no